Hello again, guys, and today I've got a special video for you because it's going to be about the Game Boy player, as you can see. And I bought this because it's something I've always wanted, and since I was able to buy a Gamecube that was in pretty excellent condition for only $10, and it came with 3 Gamecube controllers, which was another added bonus because the Gamecube controllers, they were pretty much like barely used. The control stick and the C stick are still in excellent condition. The rubber pads haven't come off, and so I got quite a deal. Although one little bummer was that the third controller was like third party, and what I just don't like about it is the analog sticks. None of them are rubberized, so it's really hard to keep your fingers on them. So that I only think of as a spare, and that you can't swap them for the better rubberized ones because the axle wells that they go into the axles of the potentiometers are different sizes, so that wouldn't work either. But anyway, we need to get back on with the Game Boy player. And I was able to buy this for a budget I considered of a maximum of $40, and bought this. That was right at the maximum budget price. And what I cared most about was the Game Boy player disc being in good condition, not having scratches at all, so that it'll still have a lot of life left in it. Game Boy player, it's not too bad. I mean, now obviously you can't see from this HD video, but for our vision still being a higher definition than HD, I can certainly notice some of the imperfections, like some of these little marks on here that I don't care about since it's just the bottom anyway. Got some little scuffs right here, but in this case I don't care. Hopefully some of these are just stains that can come out. This is what I would tell you, as well as a lot of people do, about the Game Boy player, is if you're gonna buy one, it has to come with the play disc. There are other names for it, like it says right on here, startup disc, boot disc. I should call it startup disc because that's what it says on there. And I mean, the thing about the Game Boy player is buying the Game Boy player by itself is really, really cheap, like around $10. And yet, if you wanted to buy the CD separately, it's like a high demand, very valuable item. So you could expect to pay between $30 to $40 for these little discs. Crazy. And so that's why I just felt it's a better deal just to buy the Game Boy player with the startup disc. And now I'm going to bolt it onto the Gamecube. And interesting enough, the Gamecube I have is black, so that for the Game Boy player only being available in the States as black, it'll blend really well, I bet. And I'll get back to you. Alright, we're back, and here's the bottom of the Gamecube. Now, you got a lot of panels that come off on the bottom of this, so I'm just going to gladly show you what these are. We first got the high-speed port. This has got to focus at some point. Okay, I guess I can't show you. My camera's crap, and I hope that I'll someday have the money to get a new camera, one that is more of my ideal type, which is like close to prosumer. But it says on there high-speed port, and this wide panel is serial port number 1, and I think this smallest panel here is supposed to be serial port number 2, because I've noticed that on some GameCube consoles there was like a vertical serial port here, but I guess this is like a late GameCube model where Nintendo had no use of serial port 2, so they removed it for this. And what serial port 1 does is it lets you connect your GameCube to the internet. Like, you can use either a modem adapter or a broadband adapter, but I'd stick with broadband adapter because the modem adapter only uses dial-up, which is crap by our standards. I mean, really slow by our standards. And so here we go. I first need to get something like a screwdriver to screw the Gameboy player on, but it may be a better idea that we just use a coin because it won't scratch as easily. So I don't know if I've got that. Let's hope I do. I'll just use a screwdriver. I don't waste any time. I really have to say, Nintendo designed something very well. I mean, this is kind of why I mainly wanted to get a GameCube, is to be able to play your Game Boy Advance games as well as the other Game Boy platforms on the TV. Other than that, you know, the GameCube is great for some other things. Like, I never really got to play Sonic Adventure because we bought it and not realizing that it was that would only work on the Dreamcast, which we obviously did not have. So I have a slightly different version called Sonic Adventure DX for the GameCube. And so far I'm enjoying it. It's a great version of it, of the original. So here we go. There's nothing to it. You just oh, I did not mean to drop that. So sorry about that. Me and my butterfingers. Nothing to it. You know, you just be sure you remove the high-speed port panel. There you go. You can read that. Huh. By the time my camera showed something you can read, and you just push down gently. And take your screwdriver or coin and start tightening it up. Even though it's probably not necessary, it's pretty well secure with just the serial port alone. But I like extra security when available. Okay, that's pretty tight. Now let's see. Pretty tight as well. There you go. And another thing I like about the Game Boy player is it certainly makes the GameCube more of an actual cube, because without the Game Boy player, the GameCube console is more rectangular in terms of height, and now it's more of a cube thanks to the Game Boy player. Definitely. And I mean, you don't have to remove this when you're playing GameCube games, so that's a nice added bonus. And now, that's pretty much it. I guess I'll do a little bit of previewing with the Game Boy player. So, I'll be back to you. Okay guys, we're back. I've now got the GameCube hooked up back to the TV, along with obviously the Game Boy player underneath now. And I want to show you something. I don't have the Game Boy player disc in, and that's because I want to show you the reason why you need it. Rather nice intro for the GameCube. And the interface menu is just nothing but a cube. Henceforth, the name GameCube. Like that's all it is. Now I want to show you that you can't find the Game Boy player anywhere in the menu. Not there. Has detected a memory card though, which is my memory card. No disc. So that's the reason why you need the Game Boy player disc. Is unlike the Super Game Boy, which was a Game Boy peripheral cartridge for the Super Nintendo, the GameCube, the Game Boy player needs software for it to work, which is where the Game Boy player startup disc comes in handy. So we're going to put that in now, but first I'm going to turn the GameCube off. And I got to insert a game. And I want to try V-Rally 3, see how much worse the graphics are going to look on it. So, I'm going to get that as well. I'll be back very quickly. Alright guys, the moment truth you've been waiting for. Now before we get to that, I want to add a note that that high-speed port is obviously where the Game Boy player goes into. Didn't mention anything about that when I showed you the high-speed port. So, over that, now let's turn it on and watch the magic. Cartridge didn't read right. Okay, let's see. Z button options. Let's see, change. Nice thing about this is you can change the cartridge without having to turn the Gamecube off. And you won't be able to see, but I'll give you a close-up. I'm going to detach the camera momentarily. A really handy feature that you've got to have for the Game Boy player is that since it's pretty much impractical to get a cartridge out, with the exception of Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, they have an eject button on the side. There it is. So here we go. I'm gonna pull this out, pop it out. Oh man, like a disc launcher. That is something. Needs cleaning up again. So, since I'm demonstrating, I'm just gonna blow through it, rather than just go through the process of using rubbing alcohol and wiping it up with a Q-tip. Okay. But so far, other than that, there we go. Now it's reading. And it's a little loud, so I'm going to turn it down. Now I'm going to go to full screen. First thing I want to do is find a good border. Just want something that's black. Looks like this is all I got. Let's see what other options we got to smooth out the textures. Timer 1 minute. I wonder what that does. Huh. Not much difference between the screen filter settings. Yeah, I definitely want soft. Okay. Now let's get the show on the road and play a game. Looks pretty good. Like, they've added some anti-aliasing to make it look better. Now let me know if I pronounced that wrong. Anti-aliasing is a new word, which is basically something that, well, in 3D graphics smooths out those jagged edges of objects and make it look more real. But this is like anti-aliasing for everything to make it look like a higher resolution. Okay, that's good volume. And I'll just go with options. Yeah, options to put my personal settings in, which I wish this game would save for you. I always do manual, mile per hour, because I only know mile per hour, not kilometers. Let's see, B to go back out of it. I'm gonna go to V Rally Cross, which is like racing against other cars and not trying to get in and not trying to win with the shortest time possible. Which now is really tough. I use Volkswagen.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, this quality is like, I think what Sega Saturn would be like, which obviously we know was not a great console compared to the PlayStation. Yeah, I'm playing badly, but I don't care, I'm just demonstrating to you. Okay, I'm finally getting somewhere. I'm in first place. Got a downshift or I'm gonna lose. Boost bonus. Let's see how much boost bonus I get. Okay. I just want to look at the controls here. That's what I wanted to find out, is that since there's no select button on the GameCube controller, where would it be then? It's on the X button, from the looks of things. Okay, everything's checked out, so looks like we are in great shape here. Definitely worth it. So, so this is the end of my unboxing and testing of the Game Boy player. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon with another video. Well, guys, I got some surprise bonus footage for you. Think of it like an Easter egg. I just like to see what happens if I only insert the Game Boy player disc, and without the Game Boy player. I bet this will be really interesting. Okay. Let's see. Gotta be on the right channel. Need to get myself one of those audio-video switches, so I don't have to keep swapping my PS2 cables for the Gamecube. Okay. Here we go. The Game Boy player is not connected. Please turn the power off and connect the Game Boy player. That's about as far as they'll let you go. Turning it off. And that's that for the bonus footage.